In a world full of magic and surprises, there's always a story waiting for you. Welcome to Zouzoula Tales, where dreams turn into adventures. Yaaaa the Cat and the Kingdom of Lost Light, Part 1, The Awakening. Once upon a time, in a faraway corner of the world where stars whispered secrets and moonlight danced across silver lakes, there was a place forgotten by time, a magical realm known only to dreams and old lullabies. It was called Lumora, the Kingdom of Lost Light. No human had ever set foot in Lumora, nor could they find it on any map. The skies there shimmered like crystal rainbows. Trees grew tall with glowing leaves, and rivers sparkled as if made of melted gemstones. All the creatures spoke in music, and every breeze carried a story. One radiant morning, just as the sun peeked over the horizon, a single golden beam of stardust broke through the clouds. It floated gently down, swaying left and right, weaving through the glowing trees, until it reached a wide field of golden flowers hidden deep within the valley. In the very center of this meadow bloomed one mysterious flower unlike any other. Its petals glowed a soft pink, and its heart pulsed like a heartbeat. Then, as if called by destiny, the stardust beam spun into a swirl of sparkling wind and gently placed a magical book right atop the glowing blossom. The book was ancient, yet untouched by time. Its cover shimmered with tiny lights that moved like stars. There was no title, only a golden symbol, a paw print wrapped in a swirl of moonlight. Suddenly, the flower shivered. It began to bloom wider, petals parting like curtains on a stage. A tiny paw reached out, followed by another, soft and white. Then, with a delicate hop and a sparkle in the air, a little cat emerged from the heart of the flower. She blinked twice, yawned, and looked around with wonder in her bright violet eyes. Her fur was the color of moonlight, and a gentle shimmer followed her every movement. Then, in a voice that was full of joy and curiosity, she declared her very first magical word. Yaaaa. A swirl of music filled the air. The book glowed brighter, and in golden letters, a name appeared on its cover, Yaaaa. And just like that, Yaaaa the magical cat was born. Yaaaa looked around in awe. The valley of flowers stretched far and wide. Butterflies with transparent wings danced in the sky. Birds with feathers made of light sang songs that echoed like lullabies. She giggled and twirled in the air, landing on her tiny paws with a soft plop. "I wonder, what is this place?" she whispered, her ears twitching with curiosity. Just then, the magical book floated up and opened on its own. Pages turned with the wind until they stopped at a glowing page filled with swirling symbols. A gentle voice, soft as a bedtime hum, echoed from the book. "Yaaaa, child of starlight, you have been chosen. The Kingdom of Lost Light needs you. Long ago, the light of Lumora was stolen and hidden across 7 lands. Only the guardian of the flower can bring it back. That guardian is you." Yaaa's eyes widened. "Me, I'm just a little kitty. But the book sparkled warmly, as if to say, "Yes, little one. You are more than you know." Before she could ask more questions, the ground beneath her shimmered, and a golden path appeared, winding through the trees toward the distant hills. The book floated beside her, glowing softly. And so, with a brave heart and a curious spirit, Mia began her journey. The golden path led Mia to a glowing forest where trees bent down to greet her, and tiny lights followed her steps. She met her first friend there, a tiny squirrel named Nimble who wore a leafy hat and carried a pebble staff. "You're the guardian, aren't you?" said Nimble, hopping in excitement. "We've been waiting for you." Mia blinked. "You were waiting for me." Of course, every creature in Lumora knows about the prophecy. When the light is lost, the starlit one shall rise. That's you. Together, they ventured deeper into the forest. Along the way, Mia helped a family of glowing owls find their missing baby, calmed a river spirit who had lost her voice, and danced with moon mice under a waterfall of starlight. Each act of kindness made her heart glow a little brighter. And every time she said her magic word, "Yaaaa," a little light would fly from her chest and into the sky, as if lighting up pieces of the world again. One evening, just as the sky turned violet, Mia and Nimble arrived at a broken tower wrapped in silver vines. A creature sat weeping at its base, an old fox with stars in his fur and tired eyes. "I was the last guardian," he whispered. "But I failed. The shadow came and stole the light orb. It's hidden now, locked away by magic." Mia stepped forward. "Maybe you didn't fail. Maybe you were just waiting for me to help." The fox looked up, hope flickering in his gaze. With Mia's magic and the fox's memory, they found the secret door hidden in the vines. Deep within the tower, they found a crystal mirror that showed the 7 lands of Lumora. The Sky Islands, the Bubble Forest, the Mirror Marsh, the Ember Dunes, the Moonlit Mountains, the Rainbow Falls, and the Forgotten Field. Each land held a fragment of the stolen light. To bring light back to Lumora, Mia would need to travel to each land, face its challenge, and recover its light. It would not be easy. But Mia stood tall on her paws, heart glowing. "I'm ready," she said. "Let's bring the light back." With a heart full of courage and a soul glowing with light, Mia began her journey to the 7 lands of Lumora. The path ahead was long, but she was not alone. Nimble the squirrel, now her trusted guide, scampered beside her, carrying his small staff and pointing out the wonders of the kingdom as they traveled. Their first stop was the Sky Islands, floating islands high above the clouds, where the winds whispered secrets of the stars. The islands were said to hold the light of wisdom, but they were guarded by the winged guardian, a giant eagle with wings that could create storms. To reach the islands, Mia had to solve the riddle of the winds, a challenge that no one had dared face for generations. As they ascended into the sky, a thunderous roar echoed through the clouds. The winged guardian appeared, his feathers shining like the sun, and his eyes piercing like a bolt of lightning. "Who dares disturb the winds?" the guardian boomed. "It is I, Mia," said Mia, standing tall, the lightkeeper. "I seek the light of wisdom to restore the kingdom of Lumora." The guardian lowered his massive wings, his gaze softening. "To gain the light of wisdom, you must first prove your heart's clarity. Answer me this. What is the strongest force in the world?" Mia thought for a moment, feeling the wind tugging at her fur. Then, with certainty, she said, "Love. Love is the strongest force in the world. It moves mountains, changes hearts, and brings light to the darkest places." The guardian nodded, his feathers glowing with approval. "You are correct, little one. Love is the power that binds the world. You have passed the test. The light of wisdom is yours." With a flap of his mighty wings, the guardian opened the path to the highest island, where a crystal orb floated in the air. As Mia approached, the orb pulsed with golden light, and she reached out to touch it. The light flowed into her chest, filling her heart with warmth and knowledge. "The first light is now in your care," the guardian said, his voice a whisper of wind. "Use it wisely." Mia nodded, her heart swelling with pride. The first light had been restored. The next destination on Mia's journey was the Bubble Forest, a whimsical land where trees grew upside down, and bubbles floated in the air like balloons. This land was home to the Bubble Queen, a magical being who could shape the very air into anything she desired. The light of joy was hidden here, and to recover it, Mia would have to pass the Queen's playful challenge. As Mia and Nimble entered the forest, they were greeted by a chorus of giggles and the soft sound of popping bubbles. The trees giggled too, their leaves made of translucent bubbles that reflected the rainbow sky. From the center of the forest, a grand palace made entirely of bubbles floated above a lake of sparkling water. At its entrance stood the Bubble Queen, a radiant figure with skin that shimmered like the surface of a bubble. She smiled warmly at Mia and Nimble. "Welcome, Lightkeeper," the Queen said, her voice like a soft breeze. "To earn the light of joy, you must fill this forest with laughter. Show me that your heart is full of joy, and the light will be yours." Mia smiled. "I've always believed that joy comes from the heart, from sharing moments with others." The Queen clapped her hands, and the forest around them began to transform. The trees sprouted laughter flowers, and bubbles floated higher, bursting into confetti. Mia, feeling the magic in the air, began to dance. Nimble joined her, and the two spun in circles, their laughter filling the forest. Soon, the forest was alive with joy, the trees giggling along with them. "You have shown that your heart is pure," the Bubble Queen said, her laughter ringing through the air. "The light of joy is yours." The Queen waved her hand, and a glowing bubble appeared, floating toward Mia. She caught it gently, and as it touched her, the light of joy filled her being, making her feel lighter than air. With the light of joy now in her care, Mia's journey continued toward the Mirror Marsh, a place where reflections were not always what they seemed. Here, Mia would face her greatest challenge yet, the challenge of seeing herself for who she truly was. The light of self-acceptance was hidden here, guarded by the mirror spirit, a mysterious being who could show anyone their deepest fears. As Mia stepped into the marsh, the ground beneath her feet became soft and wet. Mist hung in the air, swirling like smoke. The trees were tall and twisted, their branches reflecting in the murky water below. The path ahead was lined with mirrors, each one showing a different version of Mia, some happy, some sad, some lost. At the center of the marsh, a figure appeared, a tall, translucent spirit with a mirror for a face. The mirror spirit gazed at Mia with piercing eyes. To claim the light of self-acceptance, the spirit said, "You must face your true reflection. But be warned, the mirrors here will show you things that you may not want to see." Mia stepped forward, her heart racing. The mirrors began to shimmer, showing her reflections of fear, doubt, and confusion. She saw herself as weak, unsure, and afraid. She saw herself alone in the darkness, without the light. But then, Mia remembered the love that had guided her, the joy that had lifted her spirit, and the strength she had gained from her journey. She looked into the mirror and saw not just the fears, but the courage, the kindness, and the light within her. "I accept myself, flaws and all," Mia said softly, her voice steady. The mirror spirit smiled, and the mirrors around her cracked and disappeared. "You have faced your true self, Mia. The light of self-acceptance is yours." A golden light filled Mia's chest, and she felt a deep sense of peace. She was no longer afraid of who she was. She had embraced her true self, and with it came the strength to continue her journey. Now, with the light of wisdom, joy, and self-acceptance, Mia was ready to move on to the Ember Dunes, where the light of bravery was hidden. There, she would face the fierce trials of fire and sand, and prove that she could overcome any obstacle. Mia's next destination was the Ember Dunes, a vast desert of golden sands and flickering fires that burned bright under the sun. This was the land where the light of bravery was hidden, guarded by the fierce flame guardian, a creature made of fire and smoke, with eyes that burned like the sun itself. As Mia walked across the dunes, the heat of the desert grew intense, and the air shimmered with the heat of the flames. Her paws left small imprints in the soft sand as she moved steadily forward, her heart determined. Nimble, ever the optimist, hopped beside her, but even he could feel the weight of the scorching heat. "This place is intense," he said, his fur ruffled by the warm winds. "Are you sure we're ready for this?" Mia smiled and nodded. "I'm ready. The light of bravery is waiting for us, and nothing will stop us from finding it." As the sun began to set, casting an orange glow over the desert, Mia and Nimble came upon a towering wall of fire. The flames roared like wild beasts, but through the inferno, Mia could see a figure standing tall, the flame guardian, his body made entirely of living flame. Who dares to challenge the fire? The flame guardian boomed, his voice like the crackling of embers. I am Mia, the lightkeeper, she said boldly, stepping forward. I seek the light of bravery to restore the kingdom of Lumora. The flame guardian's eyes flared brighter. To gain the light of bravery, you must walk through the flames and prove your courage. Do you have the strength to face your fears and pass the trial of fire? Mia took a deep breath. She could feel the heat of the flames licking at her fur, but she did not flinch. I have come this far. I will not turn back. The flame guardian stepped aside, creating a path through the fire. Then prove it, Lightkeeper. Show me your bravery. With a steady heart, Mia took her first step into the flames. The fire danced around her, its heat intense, but she did not falter. She could feel the fire testing her, pushing her to doubt herself, to turn away. But with every step, she remembered the love that had guided her, the joy that had lifted her, and the self-acceptance that had made her strong. Mia walked through the flames, her fur glowing with the light from within. The fire parted around her, and as she reached the other side, the flames subsided, leaving only the light of the setting sun. You have passed the trial of fire, the flame guardian said, his voice softening. You have proven your bravery, Mia. The light of bravery is yours. With a wave of his fiery hand, the flame guardian summoned a glowing ember that floated toward Mia. As the ember touched her chest, the light of bravery filled her being, making her feel invincible, ready to face any challenge ahead. With the light of bravery now shining brightly within her, Mia and Nimble continued their journey toward the moonlit mountains, where the light of wisdom would be restored. The road ahead was still long, and many trials awaited, but with each step, Mia grew stronger and more confident. As they approached the base of the moonlit mountains, the ground beneath them began to tremble, and a soft glow filled the air. The mountains seemed to rise up to meet the sky, their peaks lost in the clouds. At the summit, Mia could see a glowing figure, a being of pure moonlight, with silver wings and a crown of stars. This was the Moonlight Queen, the guardian of the light of wisdom, and Mia knew that this final challenge would test her mind, her heart, and her ability to see the world with clear eyes. Together, Mia and Nimble climbed the winding path up the mountain, each step bringing them closer to the summit. As they ascended, the air grew colder, and the wind howled around them. The Moonlit Queen appeared before them, her silver wings sparkling like 1,000 stars. Welcome, Lightkeeper, she said, her voice like the soft hum of the night wind. To gain the light of wisdom, you must prove that you can see beyond the illusions of the world. You must show that you can understand the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. Mia nodded, feeling the weight of the challenge ahead. She had faced trials of courage, joy, and self-acceptance, but this would be different. This would require her to see through the layers of magic and mystery that clouded her vision. The moonlit queen led Mia and Nimble into a chamber of crystal, where the walls shimmered with reflections of past memories. "Look into the crystal," the queen said. "What do you see?" Mia stepped forward, staring into the crystal. At first, all she saw was a reflection of herself, a young kitten with big eyes and a small heart. But as she focused, the image shifted. She saw moments of doubt and fear, moments when she had questioned her worth, when she had felt lost and alone. She saw the darkness of the kingdom, the stolen light, and the sorrow of the creatures who had been trapped in the shadows. But then, Mia saw something else. She saw the love she had given, the joy she had spread, the courage she had shown, and the light she had brought to others. Mia smiled, understanding at last. "I see the truth," she said softly. "I see that light isn't just something you find, it's something you create. It's in the choices we make, in the love we share, and in the strength we find when we help others." The moonlit queen nodded, her eyes glowing with approval. "You have seen the truth, Mia. The light of wisdom is yours." A burst of silver light enveloped Mia, filling her with knowledge and understanding. She now understood that the true wisdom of Lumora was not in the answers she sought, but in the journey itself, the journey of love, joy, courage, and self-discovery. With the light of wisdom now shining brightly within her, Mia was ready for her final challenge, the Rainbow Falls, where the light of harmony awaited. But the road ahead was not without danger, and Mia would need to rely on everything she had learned so far to succeed. After gaining the light of wisdom, joy, and bravery, Mia felt as if her heart was now a beacon of warmth and courage. She was no longer just a little kitten wandering through a magical world. She was a lightkeeper, a guardian of Lumora's lost light, ready to face whatever challenge awaited her next. The path to the Rainbow Falls was unlike any other she had encountered. The air here was thick with magic, and the earth seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the universe. The trees that lined the path were covered in iridescent leaves that shimmered with every color of the rainbow, casting a soft glow on the ground below. Mia could hear the distant sound of rushing water, growing louder with each step. As she walked, the colors of the rainbow danced around her, swirling like ribbons in the wind. The energy of the place felt alive, as though the very essence of harmony had woven itself into every corner of the land. Nimble, always full of energy, bounced beside her. "This place is amazing," he exclaimed, his tail twitching with excitement. "It's like we're walking through a dream." Mia smiled. "It feels like the world is alive here. Everything is in balance, everything works together." Ahead, they saw it, the Rainbow Falls, a majestic waterfall that cascaded from the highest mountain in Lumora. The water shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, and as it fell, it seemed to sing a song of peace and harmony. At the base of the waterfall stood a figure, glowing softly like the moon. She was tall, her hair flowing like a river of stars, and her eyes sparkled with wisdom and compassion. This was the guardian of harmony, the final keeper of the light that would restore balance to Lumora. The guardian looked at Mia with a serene smile. "You have come far, little one. The light of harmony is the final piece you need to bring Lumora back to life. But to claim it, you must prove that your heart is in balance, that you can embrace both the light and the dark within yourself." Mia stepped forward, feeling a sense of calm wash over her. "I understand," she said softly. "I've learned that the world is made of both light and shadow. You can't have one without the other." The guardian nodded. "That is the truth. But many are afraid of the darkness, for it is often misunderstood. To find harmony, you must first face your own shadow." Mia's heart skipped a beat. She had already faced so many challenges, but this felt different. She had always tried to be brave, to be strong. But the darkness, the parts of herself that were uncertain, afraid, or angry, she had always pushed those away. The guardian raised her hand, and the water of the falls parted, revealing a swirling pool of silver. From the depths of the pool, a shadow began to rise. It was Mia's shadow, but it wasn't like any shadow she had seen before. This one was darker, more mysterious, with eyes full of sorrow and fear. Mia took a step back, but the guardian's voice was calm. "This is the part of you that you have kept hidden. It is the part of you that doubts, that fears, that hurts. To restore harmony, you must face it. Embrace your shadow, for it is as much a part of you as the light." Mia's breath caught in her throat. She had spent so much time running from her fears, hiding the parts of herself she didn't want to face. But now, in the presence of the guardian, she realized that she couldn't run anymore. With a deep breath, Mia stepped forward. "I'm not afraid of you," she said softly to the shadow. "I accept all of me, the light and the dark." The shadow flickered, then melted into the water, merging with the falls. The moment it disappeared, a burst of light radiated from Mia's chest, filling the air with warmth and peace. The guardian smiled. "You have found harmony within yourself, Mia. The light of harmony is yours." A glowing crystal floated down from the falls, pulsing with all the colors of the rainbow. As it touched Mia's paw, the light filled her heart, and she felt a deep sense of balance and peace. With the light of harmony now in her care, Mia knew that her journey was almost complete. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, and soon Lumora would be restored. But there was one final challenge ahead. The final battle against the Shadow King, the dark force that had stolen the light in the first place. Mia and Nimble began their journey toward the Castle of Shadows, where the Shadow King resided. The path was treacherous, the air heavy with the weight of fear and uncertainty. But Mia was no longer the timid kitten who had first stepped into Lumora. She was the Lightkeeper, armed with the light of wisdom, joy, self-acceptance, bravery, and harmony. As they approached the castle, the sky grew darker, and the wind howled like a cry of warning. The castle loomed ahead, its towering spires reaching into the sky like jagged claws. The gates were made of black iron, and the air around it was thick with shadow. But Mia did not hesitate. She stepped forward, her paws steady on the ground, her heart full of light. "This is it," she said to Nimble. "The Shadow King may have taken the light, but I won't let him keep it." Together, they approached the gates of the castle. As they passed through, the shadows seemed to come alive, swirling around them like smoke. But Mia's light shone brighter than ever, and with each step she took, the shadows shrank back. At the heart of the castle, in a dark throne room, the Shadow King sat waiting. His eyes were like black holes, absorbing all the light around him. His form was tall and cloaked in darkness, his voice deep and cold. "You have come," he said, his voice echoing in the stillness. "But you cannot defeat me. The light is mine, and it will remain in darkness forever." Mia's voice rang out, strong and clear. "The light will never be yours, Shadow King. Light and dark cannot exist without each other. But light will always rise, even in the darkest of times." The Shadow King laughed, but Mia stood firm, her heart full of the light she had gathered. "You may have stolen the light, but you cannot take the love, the joy, the courage, or the harmony that lives within me and within all of Lumora." With those words, Mia raised her paw, and the light inside her exploded into a brilliant burst. The shadows around the Shadow King writhed and screamed, but the light overwhelmed them, flooding the room with warmth and peace. The Shadow King roared in anger, but it was no use. The light of Lumora, strong and pure, pushed him back, breaking the hold he had on the kingdom. The darkness dissolved, and the light of the seven realms flooded the castle, restoring Lumora to its former glory. With the Shadow King defeated, Mia stood tall, her heart glowing with the light of the seven realms. The kingdom was whole again. With the Shadow King vanquished and the light restored to Lumora, Mia stood in the heart of the Castle of Shadows, her body glowing with all the colors of the seven realms. The once dark, cold throne room was now bathed in warmth and light. The shadows had been driven away, and Lumora was free once again. But Mia knew her journey wasn't truly over. The balance of light and dark, joy and sorrow, had been restored, but the task of healing the world and guiding its people was just beginning. As she stood there, her thoughts turned to her friends, the creatures she had met along the way, the ones whose lives had been touched by her light. They had all played their part in restoring Lumora. And now, Mia understood that it was her turn to guide them, to help them rebuild, to help Lumora shine brighter than ever before. The air was filled with the sound of soft music, like the gentle strumming of strings, and Mia turned to see a procession of creatures coming from the shadows. The guardians of the realms, who had once been lost in the darkness, now walked forward with their heads held high. They were the keepers of the realms Mia had visited. The winged guardian, the bubble queen, the mirror spirit, the flame guardian, and the moonlight queen. They approached Mia with reverence and gratitude, their eyes filled with light. "You have done it," the winged guardian said, his voice filled with awe. "You have restored what was lost. You have brought back the light to Lumora." The bubble queen, her laughter still echoing in the air, nodded. "You have shown us the true meaning of joy and courage. Without you, Lumora would still be lost in shadow." The flame guardian stepped forward, his fiery form flickering in the light. "Your bravery has been unmatched. You have faced the darkest of challenges and come through them with a heart full of light." Mia smiled humbly. "I didn't do it alone. All of you helped me. We did this together." The Moonlight Queen, her silver wings glimmering like starlight, stepped forward last. "Mia, you have taught us all what it means to be a lightkeeper. You have restored balance to the kingdom, but you have also brought peace to our hearts. We are forever in your debt." Mia's heart swelled with love and gratitude. She had come to Lumora as a curious kitten, unsure of her place in the world, but now, standing before these guardians, she realized that her journey had only just begun. She was not just a lightkeeper, she was a guide, a protector, and a teacher. "We have restored Lumora," Mia said, her voice strong and clear. "But now it's time for us to rebuild it. We will work together to make it shine brighter than ever before." The next day, Mia gathered all the creatures of Lumora, the fairies, the animals, the spirits, and the guardians, in the heart of the kingdom. Together, they began the work of rebuilding, restoring, and renewing. They planted trees that glowed with light, built homes made of shimmering crystal, and created gardens filled with flowers that sang songs of hope and joy. The rivers flowed with golden water once again, and the sky shone with the soft light of 1,000 stars. Mia worked alongside her friends, her heart full of love for the kingdom she had saved. She taught them how to share their light, how to care for one another, and how to keep the balance between the light and the dark. And as she worked, she realized something important. The journey wasn't just about restoring Lumora, it was about creating a future where light would always find a way to shine. As time passed, Mia became a wise and respected leader in Lumora. Her wisdom and kindness touched the hearts of all who lived there. The creatures of the kingdom learned to live in harmony, and the light of Lumora continued to shine brighter than ever before. One evening, as the sun set and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Mia stood atop a hill, looking out over the kingdom. The land she had saved was peaceful, full of life, and radiating with light. Nimble, now her closest friend, sat beside her, his fluffy tail twitching with excitement. "Mia, look how far we've come. Lumora is more beautiful than I ever imagined." Mia smiled. "It's not just the land that's beautiful, Nimble. It's the hearts of the creatures here. They've all found their light." As Mia looked at the glowing horizon, she knew that her journey was not over. The kingdom was restored, but the story of Lumora would continue, passed down from generation to generation. And as long as there was light in the hearts of its people, Lumora would never fall into darkness again. The light of love, joy, courage, wisdom, harmony, and bravery would guide them forever. And Mia, the Lightkeeper, would always be there to guide them, as the shining star that led the way. Years passed, and Lumora flourished under the light of its people. The kingdom of lost light was no more. It had been reborn, brighter than ever before. The stars above shone like diamonds, and the air was filled with music, laughter, and the hum of life. Mia had become a legend in Lumora, not just as a lightkeeper, but as a beloved leader. But one quiet evening, as the sun set behind the moonlit mountains, Mia sat alone atop the highest tower in the kingdom, looking out over the vast expanse of the land she had saved. Though Lumora was now a place of peace and harmony, Mia could feel a deep stirring in her heart, an ache that told her her journey was far from over. Her paws rested on the stone railing as her eyes wandered to the horizon. The world was full of light now, yes, but Mia knew that there were still places in the universe where darkness lingered. There were still souls that needed saving, hearts that needed healing, and lands that needed the light. Suddenly, a soft voice broke her thoughts. "You look pensive, my friend." Mia turned to find Nimble, who had been her companion since the very beginning. He was now an elder, his fur a little grayer, but his eyes still sparkled with youthful wonder. Mia smiled warmly. "I was just thinking about all the journeys ahead. Lumora is safe now, but there's so much more to do, so many more places to light up." Nimble nodded, his expression serious. "You've brought light to Lumora, Mia. But the light you carry doesn't just belong to this kingdom. It belongs to the world." Mia's heart swelled at the words. She knew Nimble was right. Her light wasn't meant to stay confined to Lumora. It was meant to spread, to reach beyond the borders of the kingdom, to help others find their own light. "Do you think it's time?" Mia asked softly. Nimble sat down beside her, his tail wrapped around his paws. "I think the time has come, yes. You've done so much already, but you are meant for more. There's a whole universe out there, waiting for the light of the Lightkeeper." Mia's gaze returned to the horizon, where the stars were beginning to twinkle like 1,000 dreams waiting to be realized. The thought of leaving Lumora was bittersweet, but Mia knew in her heart that it was the right decision. She had found the light within herself, but now it was time to share that light with others. "I think it's time for me to go," Mia said, her voice steady. "There's a whole world out there that needs me. And I need to see it, to help it." Nimble gave a knowing smile. "I knew this day would come. But you're not alone, Mia. Your light will always be with Lumora, and the light you've spread here will follow you wherever you go." With those words, Mia felt a calmness wash over her. She knew her journey would take her to far-off places, to lands that still needed healing. But she wasn't afraid. She was ready. The next morning, as the sun rose and the kingdom came alive, Mia stood at the gates of Lumora, her heart full of love for the kingdom she had helped restore. All the creatures of Lumora gathered to see her off. Nimble, the guardians, and the creatures of every shape and size. "You've done more than we could ever thank you for," the winged guardian said, his wings shimmering in the morning light. Mia smiled, feeling the love of the kingdom fill her heart. "This kingdom is my home," she said, "and it will always be. But there are more kingdoms out there, more hearts to light up, more worlds to save." The Bubble Queen gave her a warm hug. "You've taught us all the power of joy. I know that wherever you go, you will spread that joy." The Flame Guardian stood tall, his fiery form flickering with pride. "Your bravery has inspired us all. Go, Lightkeeper, and show the world what it means to be brave." And the Moonlight Queen, her silver wings glowing softly, spoke the final words. "You found harmony within yourself, Mia. Now go and help others find theirs." With one last look at the kingdom she had saved, Mia turned and walked toward the horizon. The road ahead was uncertain, but Mia knew that as long as she carried the light within her, she would never be lost. Her paws carried her forward, and as she walked, the world seemed to open up before her, full of endless possibilities. The light she had kindled in Lumora would guide her on her journey, and she knew that wherever she went, she would always be able to find her way home. The stars above twinkled brighter than ever, as if they were winking at Mia, reminding her that she was never truly alone. The universe was full of light, and she was its keeper, ready to share it with all who needed it. And so, Mia the Lightkeeper embarked on her greatest adventure yet, a journey beyond the kingdom of lost light, to spread love, joy, courage, wisdom, harmony, and bravery to every corner of the world. Mia's journey through the world beyond Lumora was unlike anything she had ever imagined. The light that had once been stolen from Lumora spread slowly through the lands she visited, lighting the way for those who had forgotten the warmth of the sun. Everywhere she went, Mia saw the magic of her world shining through. But there were still places that needed the light she carried. Her paws led her across fields of shimmering grass, through forests where the trees spoke in whispers, and across mountain ranges where the winds sang songs of old. Everywhere Mia traveled, creatures came to her with stories of darkness, fear, and uncertainty. "I was once a tree," a wise old oak said as she passed through the forest of echoes. "But I lost my way in the shadows. I had forgotten how to stand tall." Mia smiled softly and placed her paw on the tree's bark. "The light within you is still there," she whispered. "You can always grow again." The tree's leaves rustled gently in the breeze, and for the first time in many years, The tree felt the warmth of the sun on its branches. But as Mia ventured deeper into unknown lands, she began to feel an unease. The darkness that had once been the Shadow King's was still lingering in places she hadn't yet reached. Some lands were untouched by light, lost in the depths of sorrow and fear. The creatures there had forgotten the joy of being alive, and their hearts had grown cold and empty. One evening, as Mia traveled through a deep and quiet valley, she stumbled upon a village that was bathed in the eerie glow of pale moonlight. The houses were covered in vines, their windows dark, and the air was thick with silence. No sound of laughter or song filled the air. The villagers moved slowly, as if weighed down by something heavy. Mia approached a small cottage, where an old woman stood in the doorway. Her face was wrinkled with time, and her eyes were dim. She looked at Mia with a blank expression. "Who are you, child?" the old woman asked softly. "I am Mia, the Lightkeeper," Mia replied. "I've come to bring light to your village." The woman's lips curled into a sad smile. "Light," she repeated. "What is light? It's been so long since we've seen it." Mia stepped closer, her heart heavy. "It's inside all of us," she said gently. "Light isn't something that is given to us. It's something we create with our hearts. All of you are made of light, but you've forgotten how to shine." The old woman shook her head. "The darkness took it from us. We were once full of light, but the shadow came and took it all. We've been lost ever since." Mia placed her paw over her heart, feeling the warmth of the light within her. "I understand. But the darkness can't steal what's inside us. It can only cloud it. The light is still in you, in all of you. And I can help you find it again." The villagers gathered around, watching Mia with curious eyes. They had never heard such words, never felt such warmth in their hearts. "You must believe," Mia continued. "You must trust that the light is still there, even in the darkest of times." The villagers stood in silence, unsure at first. But slowly, as Mia spoke, something shifted within them. The air seemed lighter, the ground beneath their feet felt less heavy, and they began to remember the warmth of the sun, the joy of laughter, and the magic of their world. One by one, they began to smile. And as the first rays of dawn broke through the clouds, the village was filled with light. The houses shimmered, the vines began to glow, and the air was filled with the sound of birds singing. Mia watched with a smile as the villagers began to dance and sing, their hearts full of light once more. The darkness that had clung to them for so long had been lifted, replaced by the warmth of their own hearts. "Thank you," the old woman whispered, tears of joy streaming down her face. "You've given us back what we lost. We are whole again." Mia smiled and nodded. "The light was always there. I only reminded you of it." With the village restored, Mia continued her journey, knowing that there were many more lands to visit, many more hearts to heal, and many more lights to restore. But as she walked, Mia felt a deeper connection to the world around her. She had learned that light was not just something that was given, it was something that grew, something that came from within. And as long as she carried that light in her heart, she could share it with others, lighting the way for those who had lost their way. Her path was still long, but Mia was no longer afraid. She had faced the darkness, and now she understood that the darkness could not last forever. The light would always return. It was a part of the world, a part of everyone. And as long as there was love, joy, and kindness in the world, the light would never fade. One day, Mia arrived at the Valley of Echoing Stars, a place where the night sky shimmered with the most beautiful constellations. It was said that those who walked through the valley would hear the whispers of ancient voices, voices of wisdom, of hope, and of the past. Mia walked through the valley, her heart full of the light she had gathered. The stars above twinkled like the eyes of the universe, and the air hummed with the sound of the stars singing. She sat beneath the stars, her eyes closed, and listened. In the stillness, Mia heard a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It spoke softly, like a gentle breeze. "You have done well, Lightkeeper," the voice said. "But remember this, the light you carry is not yours alone. It belongs to all who seek it. And you are never alone. The light will always guide you, as it has guided you here." Mia smiled, knowing that her journey had only just begun. She had restored Lumora, and she had helped countless others find their light. But there were still many more worlds to visit, many more hearts to heal. The light would continue to guide her, as long as she remained true to herself and to the love in her heart. And so, Mia the Lightkeeper traveled onward, carrying the light of love, joy, bravery, wisdom, harmony, and hope with her, lighting the way for all who needed it. The journey that Mia had embarked upon was one that spanned not just miles and landscapes, but the hearts of all the beings she encountered. Her journey through the Valley of Echoing Stars had filled her with a sense of calm, but as the last echoes of the voice faded into the night, Mia knew her path was far from over. Her heart still pulsed with the light of the seven realms, and she could feel it calling her towards something new, something she could not yet see. The stars in the valley whispered again, their light twinkling like 1,000 questions. Mia looked up at them, the glimmering constellations now shifting in the night sky, forming shapes that told ancient stories of forgotten kingdoms, hidden lands, and lost light. In the distance, a new horizon began to take shape, glowing faintly in the deep blue of the night. Mia felt the pull, the call of this new path. She knew that this wasn't just another journey, it was the beginning of a new chapter, one that would weave together everything she had learned on her travels. Her heart was no longer just her own, it was a part of the universe itself, connected to every living thing, every creature, every moment. Mia was no longer just a lightkeeper. She was a guide, a protector, a bearer of the light that connects the world in ways that words can hardly express. With a deep breath, Mia set out once again, this time with a sense of purpose and peace that she hadn't felt before. The road ahead was bright, full of promise, and yet unknown. There was still so much to discover, so many lives to touch, so many places to heal. Her first stop was the land of forgotten dreams, a land that had once been full of wonder and magic but had fallen into despair as the dreams of its people faded away. The trees were twisted, their leaves dull, and the ground beneath her paws felt heavy with the weight of forgotten hopes. As Mia walked through the land, she encountered a small village, its people hunched over, their faces drawn with sadness. They had once dreamed big dreams, but now their hearts were empty, their aspirations crushed by the weight of the past. The light in their eyes had dimmed. An old woman sat outside a cottage, staring at the ground, lost in her own thoughts. Mia approached her gently. "Excuse me," Mia said softly. "I'm Mia, the Lightkeeper. I've come to help bring light back to this land." The woman looked up, her eyes weary. "Light," she murmured. "What light is left? We've forgotten our dreams. We've forgotten how to hope." Mia's heart ached for the woman, for the people of this land. But she knew that the light of dreams could never truly die, it only needed to be remembered. "You haven't forgotten everything," Mia said gently. "The dreams are still inside you. They may be buried, but they are there. Sometimes, all it takes is a spark to bring them back." Mia closed her eyes and focused, feeling the light within her eyes, flowing from her heart and into the world around her. The light spread, wrapping around the village, touching each person, each home, each dream that had once been lost. Slowly, the villagers began to stir. The dullness in their eyes faded, replaced by a flicker of light, the spark of hope. The trees began to regain their color, their leaves turning green once again. The ground beneath them felt lighter, and the air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers. The old woman stood, her face softening with a smile. "It's coming back," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "The light, it's coming back." Mia smiled warmly, feeling the light within her grow stronger as the villagers came together, sharing their hopes, their dreams, and their joy once again. The land of forgotten dreams was no longer forgotten, it was reborn, alive with the magic of new dreams. Mia's journey continued, her heart ever full of light and love for the world she had saved. As she ventured to new lands, she encountered more challenges, more hearts in need of healing, and more souls waiting to find their own light. Each journey brought her deeper into the heart of the universe, revealing the intricate, interconnected web of all things. The light she carried was not just hers to share, it was the light of the world itself, and Mia was its bearer. She traveled through the land of eternal night, where she helped the creatures of the dark reclaim their joy and find their purpose under the stars. She crossed the river of time, where she taught the spirits of lost moments how to move forward and embrace the present. She explored the forest of forgotten memories, where she restored the memories of those who had been lost to time, helping them reconnect with their past and find peace. Every land she visited, every heart she healed, made her more certain of one thing, that the light inside her was the key to everything. It wasn't just about restoring kingdoms or saving worlds. It was about finding the light within each being and sharing it with the world. After many moons of travel, Mia found herself at the edge of the cosmic horizon, where the world she had known began to fade, and the vastness of the universe stretched out before her. Here, at the edge of all things, she met an ancient being, an ethereal creature made of stars and stardust. "I have been waiting for you, Mia," the creature said, its voice a soft hum. "You have walked the lands, healed the hearts, and restored the light. But now, it is time for you to see the greater truth." Mia stepped forward, her heart filled with wonder and curiosity. "What truth is that?" she asked. "The truth that the light you have carried, the light you have shared, is not just of this world," the creature replied. "It is the light of the universe, the light of all creation, and it is within everything. The light within you is a reflection of the light of the stars, the light of the galaxies, the light of the very fabric of existence." Mia felt her heart swell with understanding. She had always known that light was more than just the physical glow. It was the essence of life itself, the energy that bound all things together. "You have become one with the light, Mia," the creature said. "You are no longer just a lightkeeper. You are the keeper of the universe's light, the one who carries the flame of all creation." With those words, Mia felt the entire universe open up to her. She could see the stars, the galaxies, the infinite expanses of space, all connected by the same thread of light. She felt at one with everything, every being, every moment. And she knew that her journey had come full circle, that her light was not just her own, but part of something far greater. She was the keeper of that light, and her purpose was clear: to continue sharing it, to continue spreading it, for as long as the universe existed. The golden twilight spilled over the horizon. Mia and Zuzu stood at the edge of the Shadowlands, a realm where time had lost its rhythm, and everything felt half-remembered, like the dream of a forgotten dream. The ground beneath them whispered in old, echoing voices, and the sky swirled with dark violet clouds, pulsing like a heartbeat. Ahead lay the obsidian gate, sealed for centuries by the power of 1,000 forgotten lights. But Mia's pendant shimmered like a sunrise inside a raindrop, responding to the call of what lay beyond. She stepped forward, her paws barely touching the cracked stones, and whispered softly, "Yaaaa." The gate trembled. A great groan echoed through the valley, and one by one, the seals burst like stars, releasing a wind that carried the scent of ancient magic. With a blinding flash, the gate dissolved into light, revealing a corridor made of stars, each step forward a memory reborn. Zuzu clung close, his fur bristling. Are you sure, Mia? The Shadow King. He's real. He's waiting. Mia nodded. I'm not afraid. I have the light. The hallway twisted like a spiral galaxy, leading them into the heart of shadows, a great chamber where the sky stretched above them, endless and heavy. There, on a throne carved from forgotten time, sat the Shadow King. His form shifted constantly, part beast, part shadow, part memory. His voice was like thunder trapped in velvet. You, he said, eyeing Mia. The spark, the last flicker. I am the keeper of light, Mia replied calmly. You are not darkness, you are a wound. And wounds can heal. The king laughed, but the sound was hollow. You know nothing, kitten. He rose, and the room filled with storms. Lightning crashed in silence, and the ground cracked beneath their feet. Mia's pendant glowed white-hot, and from her chest radiated a pulse of starlight. Suddenly, the throne room shifted. The stars above blinked in confusion. The shadows recoiled. Mia stepped forward, lifting the magical book high. Its pages fluttered, and a memory rose from within, a vision of the Shadow King before he fell, a guardian of the skies, betrayed and forgotten, consumed by sorrow. You were once light, Mia whispered. The king faltered, and for the briefest moment, his form steadied. A single tear, shaped like a falling star, slid from his shifting face. I remember, he said. Then the chamber began to tremble. Cracks opened in the darkness, revealing the sky of Lumora beyond. Streams of light poured in, weaving patterns of renewal. Mia closed her eyes, reached deep within, and cried. Yaaaa Tamayoooooz. Her voice rang out like a bell across every realm. From the Valley of Echoes to the floating lake, from the silent mountains to the crystal orchard, the light returned. Statues awakened, rivers flowed, and the moon sang again. The Shadow King let out a long sigh, and as the light wrapped around him, he faded, not in defeat, but in release. A soft glow remained where he stood, and from it rose a seedling of light. Zuzu gasped. Is it over? Mia smiled gently. It's beginning. Behind them, the obsidian gate had vanished. In its place grew a tree of light, tall and strong, its branches stretching into the stars. Come on, Mia said. There's still one more place we need to go. As Mia walked through the last stretch of her journey, the light within her grew ever brighter. She had faced the Shadow King, traversed lands of sorrow and joy, and restored the light in every corner of Lumora. Now, as she stood at the edge of the kingdom she had saved, she could feel the universe itself calling to her. The stars twinkled above her like 1,000 promises. Mia knew that her role as the Lightkeeper was not just about Lumora, it was about the entire universe, every creature, every soul that needed guidance, that needed the light she carried within her. She felt the weight of that responsibility, but it was no longer a burden. The light within her was no longer something she had to find. It had become a part of her, intertwined with her every thought, every heartbeat. It was her essence, and it would always guide her, no matter where she went. She turned to Nimble, who had been by her side since the beginning. The little squirrel was now an old friend, his eyes full of pride and love. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice soft but filled with hope. Nia smiled. "I think it's time to go home." The home she spoke of was not a place, not a kingdom, but a feeling. The feeling of belonging, of understanding the connection between all things, the unity of light and darkness, joy and sorrow. She had found that connection within herself, and it was the greatest gift of all. Together, Nia and Nimble stepped into the unknown, their hearts filled with the light of all the realms, ready to continue the journey they had started long ago. As they ventured beyond the borders of Lumora, the stars above them seemed to sing, a melody of hope that echoed through the cosmos. The light Nia carried was not just hers, it was the light of the universe itself. It was the light of love, of courage, of wisdom, and of harmony. And as long as she walked the path, the light would never fade. Nia, the Lightkeeper, was home, and her journey had only just begun. This concludes the story of Nia the Cat and the Kingdom of Lost Light.
Did you enjoy the story? If you want a special story with your name, write your favorite name in the comments, and we will turn it into a magical tale you'll never forget. Woman Fairy Sparkles. Don't forget to subscribe and like so you won't miss the next adventures.